Hey everyone, buying alone at 52. Yes, it's possible. I'm 52, I'm single, and I'd be buying on my own. Have I left it too late? I hear versions of this question from women more often than you might think. And the shorter answer is no. Being 52 and single does not automatically mean you've missed your chance to buy a home. But there are a few things you need to think about differently. Buying a home on your own can feel daunting at any age, but when you're in your 50s, there's another layer to it. Maybe you've been through separation or divorce. Maybe you've spent years raising a family. Maybe life simply didn't follow the timeline you thought it would. That's me, or it was. And suddenly you're looking at property prices and thinking, can I actually do this on one income? Will a bank lend to me at my age? And maybe the big one, how am I supposed to pay off a 30-year mortgage? All perfectly reasonable questions, so let's talk about them. Being 52 doesn't automatically stop you from getting a home loan. What matters is your overall financial position, your income, your deposit, your expenses and your existing debts, and how much you're looking to borrow. And importantly, what your financial position may look like as you approach retirement. The lender needs to be comfortable with the fact that the loan is affordable, not just today, but that there's a reasonable strategy for managing or repaying the debt later in life. That's called exit strategy. And no, that doesn't necessarily mean you need to have the entire mortgage paid off before you retire. Your individual circumstances matter. You don't have to buy your dream home first. This is where I think some buyers get stuck. They look at the home they'd love to own, see the price and decide, well, I can't afford that, so I can't buy anything. But those are two very different statements. Your first property on your own doesn't necessarily need to be your forever home. Maybe it's a smaller apartment. Maybe it's a townhouse. Maybe it's a different suburb. The question isn't, can I afford my dream property? The better question might be, what can I comfortably afford that gives me the security I'm looking for? It's a much more useful conversation. One income means the numbers matter. When you're buying a loan, there's no second income sitting in the background, so your budget needs to be realistic. Not just what's the maximum a bank will lend me. I mean, what repayment could you actually feel comfortable making every month? Because there's a big difference between being approved for a loan and being comfortable with that loan. You still want room for rates, strata, if necessary, maintenance, insurance, and normal living expenses. And you probably still want to enjoy your life. Nobody wants to spend the next decade eating baked beans because that mortgage calculator said they could technically borrow another 100 grand. So get the numbers before you rule yourself out. This is probably the biggest thing I'd say to women considering buying in their 50s. Don't reject yourself before a lender has even looked at your situation. I've seen people assume they couldn't buy because of their age, or because they're single, or because they thought their deposit wasn't big enough. Sometimes they're right and the numbers don't work yet. But sometimes there are options that they simply don't know exist. And that's why getting advice early can be valuable. So if you're 52, 48, 55, or somewhere around there, and you're thinking, I'd love to own my own place, but surely I've left it too late, don't make that decision based on assumption. Find out what you can borrow. Work out what you can comfortably afford. Understand how the loan could fit with your longer term plans, and then decide whether buying makes sense for you. Because buying a home on your own later in life may require a little more planning, but being single and in your 50s doesn't automatically take home ownership off the table. If you're thinking about buying on your own and you're not sure whether the numbers will work, let's have a conversation. You don't need to be ready to apply for a loan. Sometimes you just need to know where you stand and what your next step could be. Let's put together a plan that works for you. Have a great day.